What's up guys, it's Alex from Invest here. Welcome to your 25th basic Python tutorial. In this tutorial I want to talk about exceptions and basically the errors that occur when things happen. That's basically called an exception. And that's the error message that Python gives you when you make a mistake or something goes wrong. So I'll just give you an example right here of an example. If you were going to set num as a float type and you allow the user to type in something, say enter a number, and you type in like characters instead and do like Alex, this thing right here is called a exception, and it tells you that what type of error it is, where the error is at, and why it couldn't run properly. So there's a way of doing this without actually, having to prevent this error message is what I'm trying to get at. And the way of doing this is not that hard either. So I'm going to create a new document right here, new file, and I'm going to call this how to handle exceptions in Python, and it's called try. So you see this highlighted try, and then put this colon here, and then I'm going to do the same example as I did before and do that raw input thing. Enter a number, and then you want a exception, and this is also in color. You want print, say something went wrong, something like that. Gonna save this, try.py, really doesn't matter, run it, and enter a number. Again, if I put something random like hello, it's gonna say something went wrong instead of giving you this error. This is very useful when someone is, like in this case, when the user is typing something. You can't assume that they know what this thing means, and they're not the programmers, so they're not going to go back to this and fix it, basically, is what I'm saying. So it says something went wrong, and that tells the user, okay, I didn't enter a number, something like that. There's different types of exception errors. Some of them that I know of, and you can find all of this probably on the Python website, is IO error is when input-output is incorrect. Index error, when you go out of bounds for a list or something like that, non-existent element in a list. Key error, which is when a dictionary key isn't found or not existent. Name error is another type. Syntax error is when you actually type something wrong. Type error, ironic, but that's also one. Value error and zero division error. So those are some of them. I bet there's more out there, but those are the ones that are pretty important, and you can find that probably on Python's website. So yeah, except is pretty useful, and let's say, let me go back to this file right here. Except, you can actually do something like type in the parentheses value error, and then do that, and you can see that all the errors, when you do it, it should be in color. And when you do this, it's going to print the exact same thing, but except only this type of error. So if it's some other random type of error that I said before, like IO error, index error, I don't know how that would actually work. But if it had this specific value error, it's going to print out something went wrong. So that's something that's also really useful. And if it's something else, it's not going to catch it. It's going to print out the error if it was an IO error or something like that. So that's also really, really helpful, and it's a great way to stop errors from appearing when you're trying to do something. And you can do multiple type of errors. You can do value error, let's say type error. As long as these are in color, you should be in fine. You're in good condition, because if it's not in color, then that means it's not even an error, and then that probably would just cause an error. Ironic, I know, but that's basically it on that. I wanted to cover that. You can also use a else clause. And else basically is if there's no exception raised by the except keyword here, then something else is going to print. So it's going to be like this, else, and print you entered a valid number, I don't know, something like that, and then do num. and then I'll just prove that this works. Run this thing and put like 5, and it says you entered a valid number 5.0, and that's a valid number. So that's just something that I want to cover. Exceptions is something that you want to, you gotta use these statements right here because it's so useful when you're writing programs and you don't want a huge error to come up with a huge project that you're working on. This is a great way of breaking down trying to do smaller parts, and if there's an error there you can fix that. So guys, that's it for this tutorial. Hopefully this helps. I use these try, except, else statements a lot in my programs, so if you check out the projects that I'm going to be putting up later on, I use a lot of these statements, and it's a great way of handling exceptions in Python. So guys, thank you guys for watching this video. Please subscribe if you still haven't. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.